In Matthew 8:1-4, we read about a man with leprosy who came to Jesus saying, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out, touched him, and said, "I am willing, be clean." Immediately, the man was healed. This miracle is not just an ancient story, it's a timeless promise. Jesus, as our Holy Father, has no limit to his love and compassion. His healing and deliverance are expressions of that love. Just as he healed the leper, he is willing to heal us today. Healing is for everyone right now, in this moment. When we reach out to him in faith, his love will deliver us, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. In Matthew 8:5-13, we hear about a Roman centurion who approached Jesus with a plea. "Lord, my servant lies at home paralyzed, suffering terribly." Jesus responded, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion, though not a follower of Jesus, replied with great humility, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed." Jesus was amazed by the centurion's faith and said, "Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone with such great faith." And in that very moment, the servant was healed. This story reminds us that Jesus' love and power have no boundaries. The centurion, though he was not a follower, had faith in Jesus. And because of that faith, he received Jesus' love and healing. This promise is available to all of us, no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we believe. If we have faith, Jesus will deliver his love, healing, and compassion to us, just as he did for the centurion. This story reminds us that Jesus' love and power have no boundaries. The centurion, though he was not a follower, had faith in Jesus. And because of that faith, he received Jesus' love and healing. This promise is available to all of us, no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we believe. If we have faith, Jesus will deliver his love, healing, and compassion to us, just as he did for the centurion. In Matthew 8:14-17, we see Jesus entering Peter's house, where his healing power is once again revealed. Peter's mother-in-law was lying in bed with a fever. Without hesitation, Jesus touched her hand, and immediately the fever left her. She rose and began to serve them. Later that evening, many who were demon-possessed and sick were brought to him. With just a word, Jesus drove out the spirits and healed all who came to him. This passage reminds us of the incredible power of Jesus to heal, not only in physical sickness, but also in spiritual ways. We hear about his miracles time and time again in the Bible, not just as stories of the past, but to remind us that his miracles are available to us right now. These examples encourage us to ask and pray for his healing in our own lives. If we seek him in faith, Jesus' power is unstoppable, and his miracles can transform us, just as they did for those in these verses. In Matthew 8:18-22, we see a moment where Jesus is approached by a teacher of the law who says, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus responds, "Foxes have dens, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Another disciple says to him, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." But Jesus tells him, "Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead." Here Jesus shows us the cost of following him. It's not always easy, and it requires sacrifice. To follow Jesus is to make him the highest priority in our lives. He calls us to trust him fully, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The journey of faith is one of surrender, knowing that true life is found in him alone. His words remind us that following him requires dedication, and in return, we find the fullness of his love and purpose. In Matthew 8:23-27, we see Jesus and his disciples crossing the Sea of Galilee. Suddenly, a furious storm sweeps over the boat, and the disciples, filled with fear, cry out, "Lord, save us, we are going to drown." Jesus, calm and unshaken, replies, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up, rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. Earlier in the chapter, we saw examples of people like the centurion who didn't follow Jesus closely yet had strong faith in his power to perform miracles. In contrast, the disciples who had been with him for a long time and had seen his protection time and again struggled with fear in this moment. This is why Jesus asks, "You of little faith." He had already shown them his power and protection, and yet they doubted. This miracle reminds us that Jesus is with us in every storm we face. No matter how fierce the trials in our lives may be, he has the power to bring peace and calm. When we are overwhelmed by fear, we can trust in him. Jesus is not just the savior of our souls. He is the one who calms the storms in our hearts. With a word, he can turn chaos into peace. All we need to do is cry out to him in faith, and he will bring us through the storm, just as he did with his disciples. In Matthew 8:28-34, we see Jesus arriving in the region of the Gadarenes, where he encounters two men possessed by demons. These men were violent, and no one could pass by that way because of them. When they saw Jesus, they cried out, "What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Jesus commanded the demons to leave the men and enter a herd of pigs, and the pigs rushed down a steep bank into the lake and drowned. This powerful moment demonstrates Jesus' absolute authority over evil. The demons recognized who Jesus was and trembled before him. With a single command, he delivered these men from the darkness that had controlled them for so long. Jesus' power is not only for physical healing, but also for spiritual deliverance. The same power that cast out demons then is available to us today to free us from any spiritual oppression or darkness we may face. When we call on his name, Jesus delivers us from whatever chains may be binding us. Matthew 8 gives us incredible examples of Jesus' healing power and authority, both in the physical and spiritual realms. From healing the leper, to commending the faith of the centurion, to calming the storm and casting out demons, we see that Jesus' love and power have no limits. He reaches out to those who believe, and even to those who may not yet know him, but trust in his goodness. These miracles are not just stories of the past. They are reminders for us today, calling us to ask and pray for Jesus' healing in our own lives. No matter the storms, illnesses, or darkness we face, if we come to him in faith, Jesus is ready to deliver us. His love and compassion extend to everyone, and by trusting him, we can receive the same miracles of healing and deliverance that we see in these verses.